What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rob's house. We got a Corvette mod today going on the car. I always keep a fire extinguisher in my car. Anyone who does any kind of performance driving or motorsport events knows that should something go wrong, there is always a possibility that your car catches fire, especially with a fuel line malfunction. I've seen a lot of those videos on YouTube. You know, it's something that I try to be aware of and prepare for the worst case scenario. Well, the problem is I didn't have a good mounting solution for the fire extinguisher in my Corvette, which led me to purchase this Bray-Kraus fire extinguisher bracket. So we're gonna install that today. The installation's pretty simple. It does require that we remove the seat from the car. All right, guys, so if we come over to the Corvette here, we can see I already have the roof removed, which will make it easier. I have to disconnect a couple things. First and foremost, I'm going to disconnect the seat belt. There's a torque screw inside. I should have popped this cover off to show you, but you can pop this cover off with just like a clip removal tool, and there is a torque screw in there. Then you have this cover also just pops off, if I remember correctly. I gotta get my trim tools here, but this cover also pops off. There's 4 bolts, so 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all 15 millimeter. So the way that you remove this is basically slide the seat all the way back, remove the front bolts, slide the seat all the way forward and all the way up, remove the rear bolts. At that point, we're gonna disconnect the negative battery terminal in the car to make sure that the airbags don't deploy when I unplug the seat connector. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. There's nothing to it, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's 4 15 millimeter bolts. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, get the seat out, and I'll show you how this bracket gets installed. All right, guys, we got the seat out. It's really important that you make sure to raise the front of the seat as much as possible as the directions state. We have to remove this nut, and it's not possible to do without having the seat up. So before you disconnect that battery terminal to pull the connector off, make sure you raise the front of the seat as much as possible. Now, I'm gonna get that nut off and I'm gonna show you how the mounting plates work. All right, guys, so I got the bracket in there. You can kind of see how it fits. It kind of slides on there. I'll put the nut back on to finish that portion of the install. It is worth noting that to slide this on, you gotta kind of swing it on, because this big screw right here is kind of in the way. So the way you got to do it to get it on is kind of like angle it out to get it past that screw, and then kind of swing it into place. So I'm going to do that on both sides, and then I'll show you how it mounts on. All right, guys, so finishing off this install is pretty simple. Once you have the bracket in place, you're going to hold it on with the provided screw and nylock washer. Put them on either side, tighten it up, and it'll look something like this. It is worth noting that these are not metric, they are SAE, so it is a 3/16 Allen and a 7/16 socket for the lock washer. So just do that on both sides. I haven't tightened the other side yet, but I'm gonna do that. And then that gives me a mounting point for a clamp, and I have a quick release clamp. I have this quick release clamping system that should bolt right on here, and it is supposed to be directly compatible with the Bray-Kraus mount. So I'm gonna throw all this on and show you what the finished product looks like. All right, guys, so I got the fire extinguisher install finished here, and it looks something like this. Now you can see I have the little mount here that I can flip this and it'll release the fire extinguisher. In order to put it back, you just slide the fire extinguisher back on, lock it into place, and now it's not going anywhere. The only complaint I have with this mount is that if I mounted it with the lever on the other side, it's too close to the floor to function properly. And with it mounted against the seat bottom has to be tilted all the way up. Otherwise, if I put it like what a normal person would sit, it kind of obstructs the release lever. Not a huge deal. I mean, all that means is that I just have to kind of do this in order to get it out, which means that if I ever had to use it, I'd have to spend a couple seconds moving the seat, which I don't think is a huge deal, but it's something worth noting with this particular mount. Unfortunately, I can't return this mount, so I'm not going to buy a different one. I think this is going to be sufficient for my needs for now. You know, I still wanted to kind of call that out because I was a little bit disappointed with the fitment there. The reason that my other fire extinguisher wouldn't work is that it was too thick. It was over 3 inches thick, and most of these mounts are from 2.6 inch to 3 inch in diameter. I think this is a 3 inch extinguisher or 2.9. But the ring slid, the mounting ring slid right onto this one, no problem. This one also came with its own mounting bracket, but I am not using that because I'm using the one that came with this kit instead. It's pretty sturdy. I'm really tugging on it and it's not moving. So pretty happy with that, pretty satisfied with the install. I just really wanted to have that in the car. For safety purposes, I kind of had it, like I said, jammed underneath the seat before, and that's not really the best way to do it. So now it looks professional. So anyway, as usual, I hope this video is helpful. Hope this video is entertaining, and I'll see you guys next time.